Good afternoon, everyone. On this July 8th of 2021, I'm Mayor Diana Broderson, and welcome to our city. I'm so glad that you joined us today. We have a wonderful guest lined up. This is the second Thursday of the month, and as such, we always highlight one of our city departments on the second Thursday of the month. So this month, we have the Muster. So let's just do a couple of quick announcements first. You may have noticed that they have now released the weeks for the free electronic drop-off and the free tire drop-off down at the transfer station. Most of you will remember over the last couple of years, we stopped doing the spring cleanup week, mainly for safety and making sure that we had the staff capable to be able to do that. So what they did was you can call anytime year round, call a week or two ahead when you're going to be putting out bulky waste, and they will pick that up right on your regular trash day. That's free of charge year round. But as you remember, during spring cleanup week, you used to get to drop off electronics for free at your house. I mean, not drop off, but leave them out in front of your house. Same way with tires. Well, now we want to make sure that we still provide that service to Muscatine. So during the week of July 12th through 17th, any resident of the city of Muscatine can drop off up to 3 electronic items at the transfer station for no charge. And trust me, that's a big savings. One time I helped my grandson clean out his apartment, and he had 5 TVs. I didn't even know it cost at the time until I had to pay the bill. Anyway, you'll want to make sure that you take advantage if you have an old computer or anything like that that you want to get dropped off. This is a really good opportunity. And then July 19th through the 24th, every household in the city of Muscatine can drop off 4 tires at no charge. So that's another good opportunity. I know if you purchase new tires for your vehicles and you have them just take the old ones away, there's a fee. So some people take those home. Well, this is an opportunity to get rid of those at no charge. So July 12th through the 17th for 3 electronics per household, and July 19th through 24, 4 tires per household. So make note of that if you would, please. Next, as soon as I started, this is my 6th year of being mayor, and we started having coffee with the mayor way back, just so that I could meet with everybody in the community that wanted to come and had questions or wanted to share their opinions or anything like that, anyone. And when the pandemic hit, we haven't had it. So I think February of 2020 was our last one. I think March we had to cancel. So I think February of 2020. But now we're ready to have coffee with the mayor again, and I'm so excited. I really have missed being able to spend time talking to each of you and answering your questions and just hearing what's on your minds. I don't have all the answers, that's for sure. I can try to find them, and I can listen. So it's a really good time for all of us to sit and visit with one another. And then I was thinking, we've done it at Happy Joe's, we've done it at various places, Discovery Park, a couple of different restaurants. But I was trying to think of, what can we do special this year? What can we do to give us something new and fresh? So I talked to the director of director of Parks and Recreation, and I asked him, what about our parks? We have a fabulous array of parks in our community, and they're all different and unique. And, sometimes I think we all get stuck in the mud and we always go to the same park. So I talked to Rich and I said, could we have coffee with the mayor at a different park every month? And that would kind of highlight the park, give everybody an opportunity to see it, and then give us a good venue for us to sit and have coffee with the mayor. You can bring a pop, you can drink coffee, you can bring a bottle of water, whatever you want. There's always tables at the parks and under the awnings. So we're going to do that. So starting this month, July 17th, actually next week, 9 days away, we are going to meet at Fuller Park. That's the one next to Muscatine Power and Water, 9 a.m. And we're going to just sit and visit. Anybody who wants to come, you're welcome. We'll just sit and talk about whatever you want to talk about. And if there's any updates or anything that I know of that I can share, I'd be happy to do it. So I look forward to visiting with all of you on July 17th. And then I'll give you the rundown of where we're going to be at the rest of the year. And we're going to end with, we don't usually have a coffee with the mayor in December. It's such a crazy month. And we have always the holiday stroll going on. So November's our last one. And since it's kind of dicey in November, we're going to meet at the golf course clubhouse in November. So I'm really excited to go to all the different parks this year. So I look forward to seeing you July 17th, 9 a.m. at Fuller Park. You know what? If it's 9:30 and you come, 9:30 is fine too, whenever. You know, we're usually there from about 9 till about 10:30 or so. So come join us if you like. Next, I'd just like to share, I don't have anything really for as far as a flyer or anything, but I just wanted to give you an update. So, you know, if you live in Muscatine, you know we've had a problem longstanding with trains blocking the intersections down in South End. You know, and folks have to go to work. You know, there's a lot of businesses down there, school buses, you know, all kinds of things. And I have really been trying this year to try to get to the bottom of it because it seems to be escalating, and especially with our road construction, any kind of blockage down there is just going to exacerbate the problem. And the rule is they can block the intersection for 10 minutes, but we all know it's upwards of close to an hour sometimes. And so I've been trying to get to the right person to deal with this. You know, the Canadian Pacific is a really big organization. And so I tried to do everything I could to get to the right person. And finally, I got a meeting set up with one of the general managers and the vice president. And I was so happy to finally get that scheduled. And I invited our city administrator, Carol Webb, to join me, and our council member, Nadine Brockert, who is the representative for that ward where the blockage is usually happening. And we had a wonderful meeting this morning. I was so excited. Neither one of them really knew the problem that we were having. And that was my fear, that the information about the blockages aren't getting to the right person. And so but prior to the meeting today, after I had contacted them and we had some email discussions back and forth, they pulled a log. There's a phone number on every pole. And what I've been asking people to do for a long time is please call that number on the pole if it's longer than 10 minutes. And so a lot of people were doing it, but then a lot of people were getting frustrated that, you know, it's not really doing any good. And I encouraged them to still keep calling the number. Well, they pulled a log. So when you call that number, actually what's happening is that data is entered into a log. So the people that met with us today, they pulled that log ahead of the meeting and discovered that, yes, there is indeed a significant problem with blockage of those intersections down in South End, usually more than one intersection, and sometimes all of them. And so they recognized that there was an issue. And so they're going to work on it. They actually took it very seriously. And they have set in motion a plan to alleviate the problem with that being blocked longer than 10 minutes. What they did ask was if everybody would continue to call that number on the pole, and that's what I'm reaching out to you for. If you would please call that number on the pole if you are ever blocked at the intersection because of the trains longer than 10 minutes, because then that's going to enter that data into their system so that we can look at that again. Because I asked for a follow-up meeting again in another month. They said it's going to be better. I want to have a meeting and talk about it, and they agreed. So please continue to call that number, even if, now it's only staffed. The phone is only answered during business hours. So if it's after business hours, you'll get a recording, leave a message. Please don't just hang up, because then that information is. Please do that for us this next month. Then I'll be able to, we'll have another updated meeting, see where we're at, how things have went, have they improved, have they not? And then we will look at that data and see where we're at and continue to work on it. So I hope we're on a good path. So please continue to bear with us there if you would. And next, I want to thank our guests for waiting. I know I had a lot of announcements there today, but we have with us part of the Muscat Public Library Director Pam.
Anna.
Oh, I'm so glad you joined us today, Pam. You know we all love the library.
Yes, I do know that, and I appreciate that.
Oh, I'm so glad. And you guys have been in your new digs now. What has it been, about 2.5 years? Or 3?
I think it might be even longer than that.
At least 3 years. Yeah.
through the COVID pandemic season, you know, and we're not even through it all. I haven't been able to say enough about the services that you and your staff have provided throughout the pandemic. Being able to put that Wi-Fi in, I know you already had it out in your parking lot, but to be able to extend that and improve that so that all of the community could come park around the library and have internet access when our whole world basically went internet. You know, we were.
Yeah.
Well, it's very true, and it's also very expensive for a lot of people who might have limited internet if they have it at all. So it became very critical to a lot of our patrons, and we were lucky enough to pick up on that. So,
Youth, for older people, for families, you know, I mean, even people that are working here
Yes.
but
Yes.
living somewhere else, you know, people that are working can pull over students. It's amazing service. And to add to that, all of the creative out of the box programs that you guys were able to pull off through the whole pandemic.
yeah,
Yeah, it was fun.
That
That part of it was
actually
actually quite fun.
And I
And I do want to acknowledge
before
before you move on from the computer and the Wi-Fi, you know, really that was Bobby that made that work. And then it was certainly Matt, we call him our computer guy, and John Krusenstein that enabled that. So, you know, we say it was a library project, but we couldn't have done it without the city computer department. So
It really is a team. It
Yes.
really is a team. You know, I can't say that enough. With everything going on in the city, all the different departments working together, the elected officials, the staff, you know, the collaborative way we all partner together is really what is making it be successful for each one individually.
yes,
So when one wins, we all win.
definitely.
We
Definitely.
certainly don't live and work in a silo, do we?
No, no, sometimes you might think you do until the minute you need something, then you realize, oh, I have to call someone else. So,
Especially this, you know, through 2020 when we were all, you know, living and working out of our guest rooms, which I think most of us
Yes.
are doing.
yes, that was very much an experience for us. And I have to say, I'm really quite proud of my staff. And again, Bobby took a lot of the lead on this, but he did a lot of research, a lot of reading the actual source reports about the virus and helped us determine what it was that we could do because we did not feel good about being closed constantly. A lot of our neighboring libraries were closed the whole time. And that just was not the service that we wanted to provide. So he was able to sort of parse that all out and figure out a way that we could be open as much as possible and feel that we're providing service and still feel safe and feel that we're keeping our patrons safe. So that was really very exciting for us that we could do that.
Well, you even did curbside pickup. And is it still going on now even?
Yes, we still are doing the curbside pickup because there are still a significant number of people who are concerned about COVID, even though they might have had the shots.
Mm-hmm.
We do get a mixture of people in here, and certainly we don't ask if people have had shots or anything, but they might be worried that they'll come into contact with somebody that would expose them to something, not that we've seen anything like that, or just their doctor told them to do the best they could to remain out of contact with people, and so they want to follow that.
Yes. We got a little feedback going there.
Yeah,
You had a little
that's
frog
awesome.
behind you, I think, for a while, but I think it's gone.
We're having technical services on our end.
You know, we've all had those for a year. So you have, you know, speaking of Bobby and Betty, you have quite longevity of staff, don't you? I wonder if you can hear me. It doesn't look like you can. But trust me, I can talk for a little while. There you are. You can hear me again. I was just
Yeah,
saying,
and
you
in
have
fact,
great longevity with your staff, don't you?
yes, we do. I wish I could say it was me, but it's actually such a rewarding job. There's a few more downsides to it that you have nights and weekends, but really, you really get to develop a relationship with the patrons. And often it's a very close relationship. And you're also talking about reading, and pretty much everybody that works here is a big reading fanatic. So, that's a bonus too. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So I've heard about your summer program this year, and I think it is phenomenal. Can you tell
Yes.
us just the skinny on what your summer program is looking like? Your summer
Yes.
reading program?
We have a couple things going on this summer. Our main summer reading program was one that Betty developed.
Mm-hmm.
And we were trying again, we did not know at the time we were developing it whether or not people would be able to come into the building or whether we would still be having issues. So what we decided to do, Betty and I decided to do something more along the lines of quests. Different searching for things, looking for things, figuring out puzzles, that kind of thing. And I suggested that she look at working with Parks and Rec. And she came away from that being a mermaid for a little while. Every month or so, she goes and reads stories to the kids at swimming lessons in her mermaid suit, which is so cute. But the other thing she decided to do, and she did this whole part of it, was she decided to have a quest sort of thing with the parks being featured. And so there are questions you have to answer based on which quest you want to do. And you can do all of them if you want. A lot of people are doing a lot of them. And then in order to let us know that you've answered the quest, it takes you to a specific park and a specific marker in a certain place. And then you have to get the information off that marker. And then you can bring that back to us, and that's how we know that you completed the quest. But the kids have loved it, and we knew most people would do at least one quest because that's what they need to do to earn their prizes.
Uh-huh.
But so many of them are doing all of the quests that they're eligible for. So it's been really very, very rewarding, and they've just had a great time. And you feel great with them getting out in the fresh air and sunshine. And again, like I said, we didn't know if they would be able to be in with us or doing anything like that. So,
That's one thing that I've tried to share with people. Sometimes people are a little bit sad when they hear that something got canceled or changed or postponed, a month or so before it was even time. They're like, why don't you wait and see? One thing I think we forget sometimes is how much planning goes into it and how far back, so in June, I started working on Halloween at the Y, which is October 30th, and that's how it works, and so you can't wait. And like you said, when you were trying to plan your summer reading program, you didn't know what it was going to look like in the summer.
Exactly.
And that's, yeah. So I love how this has turned out this year, and people are saying nothing but great things. And once again, partnering.
Exactly. Well, yes, I think that might have been the first time we partnered with Parks and Rec is this summer, and it's been so much fun. I can't believe we haven't done it before. So we're hoping to have at least a day where it's just read and swim in the pool. I don't know that will let people use our book, but something like that. But also talking about things changing in order to try to provide service, that's how we've ended up with Chad. As a full-time employee. Now, Chad is loving that we're talking about him, but Chad had been working for us for quite a while with COVID, filming children's programming. And then it just turned out that this was a good time. We had an opening available, a full-time opening, and we were able to have him come and fill that full-time and do all kinds of different AV, not only that, but graphic design, and then all of the filming that we've been doing. And he's been doing so many different things. I think people get very excited about a lot of them, but I don't think many of them realize the whole spectrum of what he's been doing.
And you're lucky to have that kind of talent on staff.
Oh my gosh. And it's been interesting. He just finished for the city parks and not parks, the city historic preservation group.
Oh, I saw that video.
He finished, a set of 4 houses.
Amazing.
And yeah, they had written the script so that it had the information that they wanted to convey. Mm-hmm. And that has gotten thousands of I want to say readers, but it's not readers, thousands of viewers.
Visitors, viewers, yes.
Yeah, and it's been just fascinating. And then, of course, he's always been doing a lot with the kids, but now he's got a program out reading a book and a badge with the police department.
Oh.
And he's got an officer, Whitney Pena. I can't say her, Chad.
Pena.
Yeah. So she's the one that came to us with the idea. She wanted to work on promoting reading with kids. And so she and Chad have put this together. And I mean, we've had the dog, what do you call the police dog has been in, and they've been filming the police dog, and they were in the other day and filmed the squad car on the inside and all the different, computer information and all that kind of thing. And it's just gone really well. And kids are always fascinated by our, we call them our community helpers, but, our police and our fire people, and certainly the police dog.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's been a real inspiration to a lot of kids, and I think everybody's had a great time with it.
So there you're partnering with Parks and Rec and the police. And I read in the paper that Chad was doing a video on fireworks.
Yes, with the fire department, with Hartman. And yes, we showed that quite a bit, and people responded very well to that. And so he had done that. I'm sure we'll do more with the fire department as well. Mm-hmm. But we did have a fire drill too the other day. Just coincidentally.
Those are always fun.
Yeah, so that's been kind of cool. And actually, there have just been a lot of different things that we've been able to film, and we get a lot of people coming to us, which has been really exciting. We've been working some with the League of Women Voters. Last year, we worked with them because nobody could get together to go to the candidate forums. And so that was something we felt very drawn to do, because as a library, it's always one of our big missions is to present information and community information in a very non-biased way, which is what the League does as well.
Right.
And so we're working on it right now for next year, for this coming year. They're doing it again. And in the meantime, they've done a number of different programs that Chad was able to film, especially when no one was able to come in person. Sure. I know at least one of them was about the different, it was about the public works for the city, and then also the public works for the county.
Oh, yes, I remember that one.
For the next 5 years or so. Mm-hmm. And that one was also very successful. I know that the League of Women Voters also is doing something on the auditor this year. Chad will be filming that. And again, that's the case where for some reason, what the auditor is has become somewhat of an issue. And also, how do people vote if they can't come to the polls? How do they vote? I want to say remotely, but I know it's usually by mail.
Yes.
You know, how do people go about doing that? How do you make sure that it is equitable and that people aren't voting more than once? So she'll be working on that, and I think that will be again another real interesting things that the community would like. And I know Chad also did some partnering with Melanie at the Art Center because she had an artist in, but that person wasn't able to actually do a presentation. So she did it on video.
Very
and that was
good.
kind of cool. I
What
know,
else you got?
yeah, I'm trying to think of other things. Mostly it's just been an awful lot of children's programming,
Sure.
which
Summertime.
the funny thing about the children's programming, Diana, though, is when I go places, and this happens to other people too, I know, to Betty and to Julie, but we go places, maybe the grocery store, maybe church, wherever. So many older people tell us how much they enjoy the children's programming. Initially, I was like, you what? You're watching Miss Betty do story time.
Mhm.
But people really love it. It's somebody they know, they recognize them. It's kind of a boost, a little feel good. Doesn't take a long time. So that's been really a very unexpected, happy note to hear about.
Sure. Now I understand Oh Baby Lapsit started back to being in person now too.
Oh Baby Lapsit is in person, but we are continuing to do everything remotely as well. What we're doing is we're not actually filming Oh Baby Lapsit, but we're doing it the way we were doing it before we had kids in the building. So they're doing it in this room, and it might be a different topic or a different theme or whatever than what we actually do in person. But we're doing both of them.
So are some people still attending virtually then?
Oh yes, yes.
Sure.
Yes, there are actually still quite a few people that are at least slightly, I don't know if I want to say worried, but they're cognizant of the fact that babies can transmit the virus, you know, and it's hopefully very unlikely that would happen, but a lot of people just would rather play it safe.
And the children can't get vaccinated yet.
No, they can't get vaccinated yet.
Under 12, sure.
Yeah. And we still, though, do see a lot of people in the building. The other day, I don't know exactly what it must have been, what the program was. It must have been Lapsit, but there must have been about 40.
I'm still here.
Okay, there must have been at least 40 people in the building for the in-person program. So that was kind of cool too.
Yeah. So I've had a couple people ask me about the music or the movies on the outside of the building.
Yes.
Can you tell us what's up with that?
Council, the Muscatine Arts Council, you know, they always do the summer concert series. I don't know if you know Duffy,
Yep.
but Duffy did it for years.
Oh yeah.
This year they've expanded it to, I think at least, I don't know if there are 6 or 8 concerts, but they're all going to be here. Now we had the first the other week, and the other week it was in June, so a couple weeks ago in June, and we did do that one inside.
Okay.
And all of them we can do them inside if we need to. We did that one inside because earlier in the day it was so hot. We were worried people wouldn't want to be outside.
Sure.
So we had it up in the big meeting room on the 3rd floor. Now, this Sunday, we're supposed to have another one. Well, we will have another one, and I would be very surprised if we did it inside. Where we're actually going to do it is between, there's the parking lot by the side door.
Yes.
And then there's a big strip of grass, and then there's the roundabout.
Right.
So I think we're going to do it right where that big strip of grass is.
Oh,
there's
that'd be
electrical and there's sufficient electrical that people can put their sound systems up and everything. So people were very disappointed that we moved it to the inside in June. I was like, oh, thank God. but everybody else was like, I want it to be outside.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I think it's always kind of been outside. So
Yeah.
that kind of, plus, there's relative extra safety when you're outside too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What should we know or keep our eyes peeled for coming up at the library? What's new on the horizon?
Couple different things. One is hopefully will be new, but it might take a little longer. And that is on the corner of 2nd Street and Walnut.
Uh-huh.
There is what used to be somewhat of a garden with H&I.
Yeah.
And at the moment it's full of rocks. And it's only full of rocks because H&I did that for us. It was pretty much a nice gift for us because there were drains in there. There are drains under all those rocks,
Mhm.
and they weren't working very well when they'd given the building to us. So they were worried that if they didn't dig out those drains and put the rocks in right now, where we were keeping all of our local history would flood. And they all talked about how like the water would sheet down the walls and stuff. And so Glenn Stelzner, he didn't want that to happen to us. So he dug it all up, I swear to God, by himself on a weekend and put the rocks in. And that's been great. It's been wonderful. We've had no problem with the sheeting of anything. But now we think that we could move to the next step of actually making it more of a garden type area or a little park type area. We're thinking something where people could, have lunch outside if they work downtown.
Oh, nice.
Or we could maybe have an afternoon or an evening little one-person concert or things like that. We're not really looking at a children's play area because it's too hard with the doors and everything, and then also the street and just keeping somebody safe. And
Sure.
we don't want to give parents the mistaken illusion that their children are perfectly safe in that area.
Yeah.
So
Sure. That sounds exciting. We'll wait for more information. We'll look forward to that.
yeah, I think that would be great.
Uh-huh.
And then other than that, we have some patrons who use us Monday night, and they have an old-timey band. And they use the big meeting room on the 3rd floor, and the acoustics are not terrific. A lot of the acoustics in the building aren't great. It just wasn't what it was meant, what they built the building for. But he came to our board at the last meeting and proposed that what they would like to do, he and the other band members, is they would like to investigate what they would need to do to correct the acoustics in there, and if they needed to maybe find some funding or some of those sorts of things. So that was very exciting because anytime somebody offers to find you funding,
Oh, I know.
yeah.
I've been in meetings in the boardroom downstairs, and when people are upstairs, it can be quite loud.
Yes, and I'm not sure they'd be able to change that, but what they would be able to change is if you were in the upstairs, the actual quality of the sound in that building,
Oh, I see.
in that room.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have some issues with the acoustics. It's not what you might consider you would have in a library, but we've really moved so far away from what people would have thought we would have as a library, that it would be very quiet and people would be sitting by themselves and blah,
It's
blah, blah.
not that way anymore, is it?
Yeah, it just isn't the way people are using our building. Not that we wouldn't turn it down if we found a way to fix it, but I think that will probably come down the road.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it looks like the summer reading program ends end of July.
Yes.
So then does the fall programming start in August then?
Fall programming does not start in August. Fall programming always stops until it starts back again in October.
Oh, October. Okay.
Yeah. And the reason for that is just like we've talked about before, you have to have time to plan.
Oh, yeah.
So after summer reading, you have to have time for people to take some time off and regroup, especially in the children's department.
Oh, yeah.
And then do the planning and the publicity. So
because right now they're busy doing all the program.
yes.
That's right. Is
Yeah.
there anything you and I didn't talk about today that you wanted to highlight?
I can't really think of anything else. Oh, yes, we do have something new.
Okay.
Yes, with our friends of the library have been exceptionally generous to us, and they have purchased for us a large camera. And Chad, you're going to have to speak and tell me what you would call this.
It's on the sheet. It's an outdoor camera.
An outdoor
It's an
camera.
outdoor camera.
Uh-huh.
And it, I can't find it here.
What are we going to use it for, Pam?
But the outdoor camera is going to be mounted on the roof of the library. It'll be 20 feet above the roof.
Uh-huh.
And it will be, it has a 360 view, so it doesn't really matter where, it turns. But primarily, we will have it looking at the river. And it will show the river itself. It will show the lights on the bridge. It will show the lock and dam. Show parade, show activity downtown, anything like that. Camera.
What an amazing resource. What a gift from the Friends
Yes.
of the Library.
Isn't that a gift? We're very excited about it. We will have it sometimes on Channel 5, but we also will have another way to watch our TV station, and you will not have to have cable.
Oh.
I don't even know how to go into that, but that's coming. We've been in process on that. It involved moving the camera from MPW to the library, and there's a lot of other little things, but probably in the next couple of months that will become a reality as well.
What a nice resource for those families that don't have cable TV.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Oh, nice. So they'll be able to log in maybe just on the internet and be able to do
Yes. They'll be able to log in, and then they'll be able to see everything that we broadcast. And they'll also be able to see it at a later date. They can stream it.
How nice. That's perfect.
Yeah, especially because of the archival nature of some of the things we want to do, like the houses, and like Chad right now is working on a bio of Mike Berlin, the bowler, because they're recognizing him at a bowling tournament, in town, one of the national bowling tournaments. And so we're doing a little biopic on him as well. And those are some of the things we're doing also, is trying to keep our history and to preserve it in a way that people are more likely to see it or be aware of it. Because most people aren't going to come in here and dig through all the stuff to find different information about Mike or things like that. So,
and that video of the history of the homes, that
yes,
was a perfect example of that. Everyone loves it. I mean, you learned so much that we didn't know.
Yeah, I think that we'll see a lot of that. And in fact, Chad has had some rumblings about a button factory that's
Perfect.
closing that he would like to document. And I think that will be happening. And then I'm sure we'll continue working with the city historic preservation group, and then also as well as that I'm in the county one. Yeah. So I've already made him film the ice house. but we'll be doing some other things as well. So a lot of what we want to do, well, we have a number of points of things we want to do. So we want to work with the kids. We'd like to work more with the elderly. We just haven't gotten that going. But a lot of what we want to do is to preserve and archive and make available in an easy to understand format, easy to access format, the history of our area. So,
in the video on the homes, that is something
yes,
that directly targets the elderly. I see them as being very
yes,
eager to learn more about that. So I think that definitely fits that bill. I just love how your whole overall mission is information sharing.
Yes, well, really libraries are about information, although more they're about creativity too. We don't always see that much ourselves, but we'd like to provide more opportunities for our teens and our adults, our I want to say younger adults, not our young adults necessarily, but our 30-year-olds and 35-year-olds who might feel that there isn't a lot for them to do in the community, provide some creative options for them. Sure. And Kimmy's working on that. She really identifies with that. So
I'm so glad. I just can't say enough how fortunate we are here in Muscatine to have a library like yours, where you guys continually, you don't sit on your hands, that's for sure. You're continually looking forward, looking for new and better ways to serve us, and you don't miss the mark.
Yeah, we have an amazing staff that is very, very motivated and really very passionate about everything that they do, and that is what allows it to happen.
Yeah.
It really is. And I don't know. And the funny thing is, most people, well, it's not funny, but we actually do have quite a number of people that are local, that grew up here and in our local and have always wanted to be here and really have such an understanding of our community. I don't know what we'd do without Joanne Carlson. I mean, she was like, oh, well, I'll go ask Joanne. And, she knows everything. But we have a lot of people like that, maybe at different levels or in different areas that they're really well-versed, but it makes it so much easier.
We do have a larger proportion of people like me who were born and raised here and lived here all of our lives than do other communities. And I think you're right. We have a great deal of history there, right for the taking. I mean, I remember before we lost my grandma and grandpa, I was so blessed to have my grandparents when I had grandchildren. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, I'm very blessed in that way, but I would just sit for hours and listen to my grandpa tell stories about, on that corner right there, you know, this is what happened. And, you know, this used to be just all dirt road, you know, and he would just tell all these stories about Muscatine and how